Oh, my turn.
We have done the introductions.
Already? Okay. Good morning. First of all, let me say sorry to all of you. And it's my friends, Choria and Mercy, and all my friends. Thank you very much. Happy to come back to Jindal Global University. I came here several times, and the last visit was in 2016, almost one and a half year back. And thank you very much for the invitation, and also thank Zhang, my colleague, my friend, my partner, for cooperation. And we always, working together to make this program bigger, larger. And so it's nice to meet, students from Tsinghua University. And I think that this is the second time that you are invited to this Tsinghua Jindal Immersion program. And this is a great program, initiated by Raj Kumar, the Vice Chancellor of Jindal Global University. And he's not here, but he's a great man, and he initiated this university and this program. And we owe a lot of credits and appreciations to him. And we come a long way from Delhi to Solipat. It's not far, but the road is really very jammed, and we have to drive more than 1 hour to this great place. And I came here, at a time that when the bilateral relations is witnessing some very exciting period of time after last year's Dongnam or Doklam incident. And so it's happy here to give you some briefing about the bilateral relations. And I think the immersion program is great. And being the two largest labors and the largest developing countries in the world, and we always say that you can choose friends, but you can never choose neighbors. And last week, one of my Indian friends says that, yes, you are right. We cannot choose the neighbors, but we can always forget the neighbors and choose friends far away. So I think, okay, that is maybe one another thinking, another way of thinking. But being neighbors, we have to learn to live together and work together, and making progress together. That's our common aspect, and we have to work for this direction. And China and India, as I say, that we are the developing partners, and the two governments are facing the common task. And China has developed a lot in the past few decades after the opening up and reform policy adopted in 1978. Almost 4 decades passed, and we achieved a lot. But even so, and we have a long way to go, China remains a socialist country, and we are still fighting for alleviation of poverty. For more than, we have nearly 60 million population still living under poverty. And the main task for the government is to try our best to alleviate this portion of people from the poverty. And we will achieve this goal. That is the first millennium goal. Now, when the Communist Party of China celebrate the 100 founding anniversary after 3 years, we have to try our best to move this portion, this group of people out of poverty. And secondly, around the development. And China is facing a lot of problems. And you come from Beijing, and I have been here more than 3 years, and went back very seldomly, because the work parole is too heavy for me. So I cannot go back as often as I wished. But my friends keeping coming here, and they tell me stories that Beijing is changing. The sky become clearer, and you see blue skies more than last year. And the PM 2.5, the levels, the condensation is reduced in a bigger way. So it seems that the changes are there, but actually after 4 decades of continuous development, the problems are obvious. When you were back in Beijing, you feel this very clearly, and we have a long way to go. We have heavy task to accomplish our dreams, and that is one hand. And the secondly, that now the development people are thinking more, to enjoy. I'm not talking about political freedom. I'm not talking about the West kind of multi-party democracy, but around the development of the economy, people, the thinking that the mentality is changing. We are become a part of the world, so we have to adopt the same value as a humankind. So after the 19th Party Congress, and now we are trying to work for a shared future of humankind, and we are entering a new era. So namely that in the field of political development, we will let our people to enjoy more, pluralism, and more, freedom of speech, and more, participation in the governance. So that I think that is a must. That is a must. So we are facing some problems, and thirdly, that the problems of disparity of development, unbalanced development. When we go forward, and you find that the gap between rich and poor are widening, and you have Jack Ma, the billionaires. He's making money every second. He's making money billions of dollars. But on the other hand, that most of those people who are living in the countryside, they're pulling, sustaining in their daily life, trying hard to work for their life. So this is a very, very difficult. We're facing difficult problems, and fourthly, that you see the governance, the rule of law. Jindal Global University is very famous for its curriculum and programs for law. You're very famous. So we should learn something from Jindal Global University in how to improve our governance, how to improve our rule of law, and we can learn from them. Yeah. So, of course, the fifth problem we are facing is we are saying that after development and the environmental degradation and pollutions are there, and how can we make up what we lost and catch up with the development opportunities, and let everybody to enjoy the development, to share the benefits that we made so far for the development. So China, we looking at China, and people are saying that China is a developed country, China is developing so quickly, but at the same time, actually, when you go to China, when you understand our society, and you will see that we have a lot of problems. Being youngsters, being young students, and young generation, and the dreams of develop as great nation is always natural. The task is lying on your shoulder. That's number one. And when you looking from the Indian side, and under the great leadership of His Excellency Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, and India is changing quickly. It's changing quickly, very, very quickly. I stayed here 3 years. I witnessed the changing, and Indian government is trying to make a new India. Okay, they have so many programs going on, making India, start of India, and everything are going on. And Prime Minister Modi went yesterday to Davos to attend the World Economic Forum. That was the first one after 20 years. Okay. The main task for his visit is to introduce India to the world CEOs to attract foreign investment. Why? Because Indian government is also facing how to better or how to improve the livelihood of their people. Okay. So when you come to this way, of course, we know that after demonetization, after GST, and you also are facing some problems, and the policies are also in the process of adjustment, and to streamline the policies, how to make the policies, how can adapt to the reality and make a best outcome out of this reform. So from the Indian side, they're also facing a lot of problems, challenges. So being the two neighbors, we are facing the same task, same problems. So we have to work together. I always telling my colleagues in MEA, in Home Affairs Ministry, and in some other government offices, and even most of the lawmakers of India. I said that we have to compare it with the problems, with the disputes we are facing. These are minor things. We have big things. We have big dreams to work together. And people are saying that if China and India speak in one voice, the world will listen. Okay. If China and the US and India join hands together, 1 + 1 = 11. So that was said by His Excellency Prime Minister Modi. Yeah. So we have problems. We have to face these problems, and we have to learn how to handle these issues. But at the same time, we should look forward. And staying here for 3 years, my understanding of this country is enlarging, and but I also found some problems. I found the lacking of mutual trust is really very big, very big. Two peoples do not know each other, even though that by the end of last year, I have a figure here. By the end of last year, the two-way visits by our two peoples is 1 million. Among them, 80 million, 80万是多少? 800,000 of Indian nationals are traveling to China, and 200,000 of Chinese, including you, are coming here to visit India. So compared to, we combined together, we have a population more than 2.6 billion. It's a huge population. But if you look in this figure and looking at only 1 million mutual visits, that's a peanut. That's a fraction, very small. So if the two-way visits enlarge, this will actually improve our mutual understanding. We know each other. Give you one story that the DG, Director General, Mr. Prasad of IDSA, one of the think tanks in India, very famous think tank.
Minister, they will be taken to IDSA.
IDSA?
Yeah, they are going.
You're going?
Yeah,
That's great.
One of the days, yeah.
One of the days.
1st February.
1st of February?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. That's great. I hope that you will exchange views with IDSA, those experts. And the year before last, I tried my best. And because you see, DG Prasad.
Jayant Prasad.
Yeah. Jayant Prasad. He was my very close friend. We have one same experience. We stayed in Kabul, Afghanistan. From 2006 to 2010, I was there as DCM, political counselor, and he was the ambassador, Indian ambassador to Afghanistan. So we met there, and we we share very close interactions and visits. And when he become the DG, I was very happy. I called him. I want to meet you. He said, you come. So we met, and I told him that in order to enhance the think tanks interactions, mutual visits, I'd like to invite that you please head a delegation from IDSA. IDSA is under the Ministry of Defense, and almost all of their experts are retired officers, Army officers, Navy officers, Air Force officers. So I find that some of them, they don't know much of China. They never go to China. So if we have this opportunity to bring them to China, that will make a big change. So eventually he agreed. Then I accompanied him, this delegation, some colonels, senior colonels, including the DG himself. Then first a visit to Beijing, and from Beijing, and I propose that you have to take the speed train from Beijing to Shanghai. It will take only 4 hours and 50 minutes. He initially at the beginning he cannot accept. He said we'd better to take aircraft. It takes 2 hours, and I'm not so confident about your speed train. But I insisted, you have to try. He agreed, and they experienced the speed train. And so he changed this visit changed their view, their views, their understanding about China. So we wish to enhance the mutual exchange of visits, like you, bring more and more people to visit each other. And but so this is a huge task. We were facing a huge task. 1 million is really a fraction. So we have heavy task to do that. And besides of the people-to-people exchange, of course, among them is the educational exchange. And this is also one-sided story. From India, by the end of last year, we have 20,000 Indian students studying in China. Most of them are learning medical program, like traditional Chinese medicine. But the problem is that both countries, up to now, we haven't reached agreement to recognize mutual recognition of the degrees. We don't have that agreement. So that means that after graduation, when they come back, they cannot be recognized. They cannot find jobs here properly. So this is also another big problem. We have to, both governments are talking, discussing, and find ways how to solve this problem. But up to now, we're still stuck in somewhere, and cannot go forward. Because, Indian government insisting that when we sign this agreement, we should exclude this medical students out from this agreement. That's not fair. If you join this portion of students outside of this agreement, and this will be a prejudice for those students, Indian students who are trying to study in China, more than 20,000 students. So if we put them outside of this agreement, that's not good. So from the Chinese side, our point of view is that if we sign this agreement, we should sign a comprehensive one, including every aspect, every subject, every program, including medical studies, medical programs in China. So that is one I said one-sided. We have 20,000 of Indian students are studying in China, but at the same time, we only have less than 3,000 or 2,000. 2,000 Chinese students are studying in India. So this is really, really low. When you compare our students studying in the US, UK, Australia, even Korea or Japan, This number is huge, huge numbers. So this is when you come to the educational field. Of course, my colleague is trying her best to push forward the cooperation further, but we still have a long way to go. And then when you come to the exchange of visits, of course, I always said that the bilateral relations between India and China is leaders-led relations. Without the leadership, without the guidance by our leaders, our two countries, we don't know the directions of the development. So that is a very huge and big feature of our bilateral relations, led by the leader. The two leaders, since 2014, the leaders met 13 times bilaterally, in the multilateral, on the sidelines, the multilateral conference. They met 13 times. And this year, they will meet 1, 2, 3, at least another 5 times this year. Okay. So the leadership led bilateral relations is really very great. And we wish that this very important bilateral relations should be guided and pushed forward by the leaders continuously, without any interruption or stoppage. And we come to other levels, mutual exchange of visits. That's huge. But last year, this is more or less are affected by the Doklam face-off and become terminal. Last year, the mutual visits. Last year, my colleagues feel very happy because the year before last, in 2016, because of the Goa summit, we received 150 delegations above ministerial level. 150 delegations. Can you believe? That almost 2 days, more than 2 days, we will receive a ministerial level delegation. These are not including the DGD level delegations. If combined together, that's more than 500. But last year, this number reduced time low and very less, and my colleagues felt more relaxed. And starting from this year, this visits is coming more and picking up, efforts are picking up. So some of my colleagues are saying, we almost forget how to receive delegations. We have to, make ourselves, prepared, and to find out the fires that in 2016, that what we have done, what we did to get more experience from the predecessors. So, but I believe that the mutual exchange of visits among the government departments and are very important connections. And when you come to the mechanic cooperation, and between US and China, we have more than 120 different kinds of mechanical cooperation mechanisms. But between India and China, we only have less than 40. We have a long way to go. Yeah. This mechanism of cooperation, covers extensively in the field of economy, politics, education, culture, and so on. But compared with our cooperation with the US, we have a long way to go. Yes. Mechanism cooperation is very important because these are the guidance of how we can push our bilateral relations further and what should be the future of our two corporations. Then we come to the government, local government exchange of visits. I may say that is the backbone. That is a huge, pillar of our two bilateral relations. Local governments. In India, when you stay here, because I think that most of you just come the first time, or you have come for some of you visited India, or almost, or just the first time. Okay. And when you come, you will stay here in India, you'll find it very interesting. We go further to the south. The people, their intention, their wish, their aspiration to cooperate with China becomes stronger. They don't care about the politics. They don't care about the border disputes. So the political sensitivity is less when you go further to the south. So that's naturally, when you're looking at the economic and trade corporations, our investment, our enterprises, presence in India are almost located in the south, in the coast regions. Not here in Delhi, not here in UP, Haryana. Yeah, we are trying. We have some enterprises, but not big. The major Chinese investment, Chinese enterprises are located in the south, in the coast regions. So we naturally pay huge attention and attach importance on the local government corporations, and majoring on the mutual exchange of visits of few major and super states like Maharashtra and UP, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu, and of course Kerala and those.
Sorry to interrupt you, Minister.
Yeah.
We are hosting Yunnan provincial government on the 1st of February.
That would be great. That would be
That's
great.
part of this.
That would be great. That would be great. Yeah.
And in the past, Hunan was here. There was
Hubei
from
will be
So
here.
Yunnan, Hubei have come.
Yes. So I think that this local government's the exchange of visits is very important. Forms of a huge pillar of our bilateral relations. We're trying to move further in this direction. And of course, last day we were talking about the trade, and the figures here is really not. So how can I say? I got a figure here. In 2016, the total two-week trade volume is 71.2 billion US dollars. And for this year, for last year, because we actually I don't have the statistics, the statistic figure for the total trade volume last year, but I only have from January to November. From January to November, this total trade volume has increased. It's 76.9 billion US dollars.
In 9 months, in 10 months.
10 months, 11 months, 11 months. So this is a huge growth. The growth rate is very high. But the problem is that the trade deficit in favor of the Indian side. The gap is widening. This trade is heavily in favor of China. And of course, we are saying that we are also trying. We know this problem. We're trying to solve this problem. And number one is that end of this year in November, China will hold the first import-export. And in the past 4 decades, we have been have this export in Guangzhou. That is annually to have 2 events. Yeah, in summertime, in spring and autumn time. In spring section, we have 2 sessions: spring session and autumn session of export. But starting from this year, we will have the first ever import expo in Shanghai. This is one of the four, very important functions which will be held in China within this year. And we wish that Indian government, Indian enterprises will send huge delegations to attend this import expo and to try to demonstrate your strong points and your strong pillars of industries, products to the Chinese audience, to the Chinese customers. Yeah. But up to now, only last week, we got confirmation from MEA, from the Ministry of Commerce, that you will send delegations to attend this expo, import expo. And up to now, that the reactions from the Indian enterprises are not so high. So we wish that the Indian government, Indian enterprises, and the Indian people make full use of this opportunity to, introduce yourself to the Chinese importers, to the Chinese businessmen, to the Chinese, consumers, and we want to use this very important channel to import more from India. This is number one. And number two, now we are trying to relaxing the rules of importing from India, and in the very important fields like pharmaceutical products. Maybe you know that India now is the Indian enterprises, especially pharmaceutical enterprises, they produce very cheap medicines to cure cancer. And my colleagues are working here in the embassy. We have a task. I call it a moral task, to bring these medicines back to China when we are taking holidays. Why? Because our relatives are saying that, my mother is dying, my father is dying, my sister is dying, and why please bring some medicine back and help me. And so we are trying to do this. And these medicines are really effective, very effective, and price competitive. The price of this medicine sometimes 10 times lower than those products in China, and sometimes 50 times lower compared with the price in China. India do have a competitive, advantages in this line of business. So in pharmaceutical area, we are trying to expand our import from India, and the two sides, the two departments, government departments governing these sectors of business, are already set up committees to look into these rules and how to further relax our rules of import from India. And secondly is the agricultural products like rice, like wheat, like cotton, even like buffalo beef. Yeah. So we are trying to open this area and to Indian products, to narrow down this gap of trade. But we think that as far as the bilateral trade deficit is concerned, the main problem is the structure problem we are facing. After 40 years reform, the China has built up a huge manufacture sector. We are producing everything, and the manufacture sectors are very strong in China. But when you come to here, in the Indian side, the manufacture sector is very weak, very weak. And your economy, when you started to open up your economy in 1991, that your policy is mainly focusing on IT area, that is service-led economy model. But China is, is export-led, export-oriented economy. That is our model. So naturally, you see, this is a structure problem. So how to solve this problem? That is increase our investment, increase Chinese investment here in India. And last year, I have a figure, the total investment from China, also for the 11 months, that is compared with 2016, this is really, reduced. The total amount is 260 million US dollars. That's a very, very small number. And in 2016, that the total number is, is 690 million US dollars. That's larger than compared with last year. But the accumulated investment from China stands at 5.1 billion US dollars. 5.1 billion US dollars. Yeah. Of course, this I'm talking about this investment is not including those finance sector investment like Alibaba. Alibaba, already invested about $2 billion in Paytm, and also one of the large Chinese pharmaceutical enterprise manufacturers, Fuxin Pharmaceutical in Shanghai, they purchased, they purchased one of the pharmaceutical enterprises here. The total investment is 1.2 billion US dollars. Yeah, and of course we have some other investment are coming. And when you come to the smartphone, like this smartphone, and last year or in 2016, Samsung, iPhone takes the top one, top two places. But this year, the four major Chinese smartphone producers, one is Lenovo, and one the second is Xiaomi, and the third one is Vivo, and another one is Oppo. Four of them combined together, they are taking almost 57% of the local smartphone market. Yeah, beat Samsung, beat iPhone. Yeah, so that is a huge development. But all this, these are success stories for manufacturers. And Oppo, Vivo, Lenovo, and Xiaomi, they are not importing smartphones from China. They already set up their manufacture and assembling factories in India. They are enjoy making India policies. They are produce the products in India and by employing the local workers. So make contributions to this economic development in India. So this is when you come to the economic trade area, we're really facing problems. And my Indian friends and the Indian governments always complain about the trade surplus, and we're trying to solve that problem by introduce more Chinese investment. And investment now in China, is also changing very quickly. In the past, that is the state-owned companies form the main amount of this investment, but now is private sector. Private sectors are coming in a very big way, like Alibaba, like some other like Sanyi Group, Group. Some of these major companies has already set up the industry park in Gujarat, in Maharashtra, and in some other cities and states in India. So this, roughly this, I just gave you a rough the status quo of the bilateral relations. What do we have? What point we have come to? For this year, we look into the 2018, and this year is a very important year. And you have been here how many days?
They just arrived
Just arrived yesterday?
last night.
Last night, okay. So when you stay here for a few days, when you have chance to read the local newspaper, and in the past few weeks or 1 or 2 months, the local newspapers are focusing more on the disputes, on the dispute side. So that's natural. That's natural. News is always make items with eye-catching items to sell more papers. Okay, that's natural. That's natural. But this shows a very, very important trend, and I must say it's not so positive. That is, the local newspapers are focusing on Doklam second. Last year's Doklam 1. Now they're focusing on Doklam second. They're saying that after, the winter, when the snows melting, and maybe the Chinese side will restart the construction of the routes in Doklam. So they will send the troops again to that area. So this will cause another face-off. So this is the allegations by the local newspaper. But that is not true. That is not true. Actually, the situation now on the front is under control, and both sides are, have been sharing this this information and meeting, very often to diffuse the tension. So I will say that, starting from this year, and the two leaders will meet very often. As I said, that just now they will meet at least 6 times this year, and so I think that my colleagues remind me that I should cut short my speech and leave more opportunity to others. So I will make it short. So this year that I will say that we'll try to solve these problems and looking forward, and to avoid the Doklam 2 from occurrence, to try to avoid this situation. And the corporations, we will focus more on the corporations, on size of corporations, and the Indian side will have a new foreign secretary. Maybe you in China, in Beijing, that his name, Vijay Gokhale, and he has a beautiful name, a beautiful Chinese name, Gu Kaijie. He stayed in China for several years, and he speaks better Mandarin than I speak. Yeah, really. Yeah, he speaks very fluent Chinese language, and he has huge connections, and with our leaders, with the government departments, and so he will take over the post of Indian Foreign Secretary, starting from January 28th, and he will start his first visit after Spring Festival. From February 22nd, he will start to visit China, and I think this will start a new page of the bilateral relations. And we have a lot of problems, but if we resume the mechanism, negotiations and meetings, and this will diffuse the tension, and find ways to handle the disputes, to handle the differences. So I will see this year will be a turning point year of relations. We are saying that let's work together to turn over the old pages and start a new chapter, turn over the old chapter and open a completely brand new page for the bilateral relations. So from the embassy, we're trying to do more, to build stronger relations. So that is our common purpose. And finally, I would say that I will thank Jindal Global University. I will thank the Raj Kumar, the Vice Chancellor, for his efforts, for your efforts through the years. You have been invested and focusing on exchange programs with Chinese universities like Tsinghua, the very prestigious university in China. And the embassy will try our best to provide whatever assistance, the cooperation that we can do to enhance this kind of cooperation. And I wish that you will stay here. How many days they will stay here? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So besides of Delhi, they will travel to Taj Mahal and some other states.
Yeah, local sites.
Local sites. I think this is a very, 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 very real and a very important experience. 2 weeks is not long, but it's not short to stay in India. Your experience, India is a great civilization. There are a lot of things to see, and please use this opportunity to exchange views with the local officials, your counterparts, the students, Indian students, and to learn more about India. I think in the future, I don't know, students from Tsinghua University, always our leaders, some of the leaders are from Tsinghua University, graduated from Tsinghua University. I wish that in the future you will be the leaders of China, and you will be the ambassadors of China. And of course, to be ambassadors, to be diplomats is not attractive nowadays, no longer attractive. But I still wish that some of you in the future will join us in Foreign Affairs Office and work together with us to contribute to stronger India and China relations. 希望你们在印度期间I will say a few words. 你们呢是今天早上刚来哈，还有时差的问题，2个半小时给北京。首先呢，我代表大使欢迎你们。我们驻印度使馆呢是一个副部级大馆啊，我们现在人很多。那么中印关系呢，现在状况呢，我们是叫什么呢？叫在曲折中前行，在波折中发展。这是很艰难，很艰难。但是呢，我们对双边关系的发展是有信心的。两国人民呢，必须要友好。62年的战争打了一仗，两国人民的这个信任缺失，影响非常的大。到现在，印度已念念不忘，念念不忘。他们的祖辈、他们的父辈、他们这一代人，包括他们的下一代人，影响非常的深远。所以不能再打仗了，不能再打仗。我们要聚焦合作，管控分歧。管控分歧，所以你们来了过后呢，在印度期间啊，印度呢跟中国你们来了过后还是有差距的，还是很大的，那么你们来之前肯定也看了很多东西，关于印度的报道，那么我觉得，对一个国家的了解，那么不管他有没有误解，不管你对这个国家的了解有多深，我觉得都还是抱着一个积极的、向上的一个观点，来了解它。来认识它，那么这样呢可能更好一些，效果会更好，结果也会更好，当然有反差，文化的反差，发展的反差，为人处事的反差，都不一样。那么我希望你们利用这个2周的时间啊，能多学、多看、多了解、多交流。多交朋友，一个人利用这次访问交一个朋友、2个朋友，你们一个团你们是18个人，还有19个人是吧？19个学生，2位随团的老师，那么21个人，每个人交2个朋友的话，对吧？这就是多少了？你们回去再把它传开，一代10，10代100，对吧？我们只能通过这个办法， 我们中印两国人口这么26亿多人口，我们不可能把他们13亿人口都邀请到中国去访问，不可能的。所以我们只能通过这样子一步一步的 step by step 一点一点的来，水滴石穿的精神，来把这个双边关系往前推进。那么在印度期间，因为你们刚来初来乍到，你们这个冬季我们说印度一年12个月，8个月是高温这个酷暑，4个月是雾霾。那么现在真是雾霾，你看今天雾霾很严重，雾霾非常的严重，雾霾非常严重。所以你们来了过后呢，估计对他们这个饮食还是有不适应的地方。那么我的经验就是，你看我们使馆的官员来了一般的前3个月，这个拉肚子的肯定是必须要发生的，也是逃不掉的。为什么呢？这就是这个水土不服。那么你要喝当地的水，你要吃当地的东西，那么肯定对你的肠胃要造成影响。所以你们来了过后这个当地的饮食要注意，要小心尽量吃这个热的，凉的要少吃凉的要少吃。当然，如果你们胃比较足够的强大，就可以尝试，但是呢，还是要做好准备，对吧？第二个呢，这个雾霾也比较大，还有一个呢，就是感冒，现在全球这个流感盛行所以希望你们来了过后，你们回去，那么现在国内是要放假了，是吧？放寒假，你们回去还给家人团聚，还过春节，别搞得这个病歪歪的回去，对不对？让父母看见了你们到印度去了，回来就病了，到时候对印度的印象更不好，是不是？所以我想呢，你们充分的利用这个机会，认识印度，了解印度然后呢，帮我们做工作。每一个团组来了，我们都希望你们来做工作只有这个一点一滴的，从我做起，从现在做起，每个人都做努力，我们慢慢的把这个关系把它维护起来，强大起来友好起来用一个声音说话，用一个思想。我们吴迪讲的嘛，中印两国是2个躯体，一个灵魂我就讲得非常好，因为我们这个文化传统相近的，对吧？所以预祝你们在这儿这次这个浸润计划圆满成功，也希望你们在这儿这个注意身体，好吧？注意身体。如果你们方便的话呢，欢迎你们到使馆去，到德里，你们肯定要到德里去。张老师张教授，可以安排他们到使馆去转一转。我们使馆这个面积非常大，1年前我们使馆是全球面积最大的馆，全球最大的馆我们的面积这个很大，89亩，12.38万平方米很大的一个馆但是呢，去年起来从巴基斯坦把我们 take over， 巴基斯坦呢给我们的15万平方米建了一个特别大的馆，所以我们现在的小，但是呢这是最大的一个馆之一。所以希望你们到我们馆的这个60年代建，然后现在馆舍条件不是太好，但是去看了很有特色倒是给孙老师给孙老师联系孙老师联系，到时候到使馆去看一看，好吧？到印度来一定要回家，使馆都是你们的家这个希望你们把我们的使馆当成家，好吧？不要想家，想家就想使馆，好，谢谢你们